expect. So sit down, enjoy, and let's see if there can be some sort of upset tonight as I welcome in Ryan Brockhoff, Andrew Gaze. Rowdy, we take a look at the Mitsubishi Motors ladder. We know it's top v bottom, but we also know in basketball, anything can happen.
Anything can happen, especially a night when you're celebrating a championship, back-to-back championships, 25 years, and having greats in the house. Can Adelaide draw something from it and find some extra energy to take it to the ladder leaders?
Well, Andrew Gaze, we know it's going to be a tough night for Scott Ninnis. He took over about 6 games ago. He's had the one win against the Brisbane Bullets on Christmas Eve, but he's got his work cut out tonight. How do you try and find a way to beat this Melbourne United team?
Well, tempo control is vital. Melbourne are so good at both ends, but they're leading the league in scoring, or equal top in points per game. So just trying to restrict them and what they can do on the defensive end. This man here is in some pretty good form. 16 points, 10 rebounds, 12 assists. That's what is commonly known as a triple-double. And their performance against in their last outing against Illawarra, Isaac Humphries, and we all know how well Illawarra is playing, and to only lose that game by 7 points in the end. I think that they are a dangerous proposition on their home deck.
I like it, Gazy. The only triple-double we've seen so far this season. Another man that's in great form, Rowdy, is this man, Isaac Humphries. If we take a look at the numbers since Scott Ninnis has taken over as coach, it has been a clear shift to get the ball into the big man and feed him. You can see his field goal attempts have almost doubled.
And there's a reason why. His production's been there when they've gone to him. And to start the year, I think all of us were saying, get him more involved, run the offense through Humphries. And through the last 5 games, he's been an absolute powerhouse down low, and he's got his hands full tonight.
We'll take a look at some of his highlights. Gaze, he had the 50 points in round 13 over the 2 games combined, 26 points, 24 points. It certainly looks like they're going to go to him early as well to get their game going.
No, 100%. He's a real confidence guy when he sees it going through, and more importantly, when he gets his touches early on, then he feels engaged. Got to stay out of foul trouble, but the way in which he's defending down the other end, very good rim protection, and also the diving action on those on-ball screens. Early part of his career when he was playing for me, and he's just come out of college, he had a tendency to pick and pop and just hover. Now he's making that presence down low and just demanding the ball.
And Rowdy, he's going to have to be aggressive tonight because he's coming up against the Twin Towers of Melbourne United. Joe Luala-Chul, Ariel Hookporty. We want to touch on this man, JLA, because some of his numbers are pretty surprising considering when you look down the bottom there, he's only playing the 24 minutes a game. They are NBL rankings.
We just talked about MVP, and this is one man that probably should be up there. His averages throughout the season have been phenomenal, and his impact in just only 24 minutes is nothing to be sneezed at. So he's in for a big challenge. Him and Humphries going head-to-head. It's going to be the matchup that I'm most looking forward to watching. The big fellas down low. Who's going to dominate the paint, I think, goes a long way to go into who's going to win.
And Gazy, when he has a quick little spell, this man just steps onto the floor and continues to dominate.
What a tandem they have. The rim protection is as good as in the competition. And when you combine that with elite guards out on the perimeter, it's the perfect formula they've been able to put together. And full credit, as I mentioned in the pre-game show, the way in which Hookporty and Luala-Chul work in tandem. There is, sometimes I've seen they might have played together maybe 2 minutes the whole season, but that's also an interesting proposition. And this one here with the numbers here, Joey.
Well, this was a game Thursday night against the Sydney Kings. If it's not the big boys getting you, then it's the guards. These two stepped up, Rowdy, and they were awesome in that win against the Kings.
They were fantastic. Controlled the game offensively and defensively, did an amazing job on Jalen Adams. They are just a tough backcourt to score against. And I love the way that they both set up the offense. Matthew Dellavedova with the 9 assists. His pick and roll, being able to hit the bigs on the lob, is the best in the league by far.
Well, you spoke earlier about the coach of the year. Certainly this man has to be a front runner, Dean Vickham. And this is the challenging part of the fixture for Melbourne United, guys. 7 away games in a row. We know about the challenges around Australian Open time, and they're just starting to get through that middle part of it. How does he manage?
True. Well, he manages with great comfort, and he sleeps well at night because he's built himself up a nice little buffer. And you go into these games chock full of confidence, and you get a feeling that you're almost playing with the house's money because you've got that margin sitting on top of the table. But if you're going to win a championship, getting on the road, I think that this period of the season, the way in which you can galvanise, when you're on the road for such an extended period of time, there are pros and cons to that. But this is going to be a challenge when you look at this starting lineup. DJ Vasiljevic can go off on any given night. Trey Kell's coming off a triple-double. And surprisingly, Nick Marshall into the starting lineup.
They're starting in place for Trenton Flowers, who didn't score last weekend in their loss to Illawarra. So they're just giving young Nick Marshall a chance, who has become part of the rotation, averaging over 13 minutes a game under Scott Ninnis. But this Melbourne United side, ready, they are just flying. Kyle Bowen stepped into the starting lineup for Luke Travers the other night. Continued his spot. He played really well against the Kings.
He's been the ultimate glue guy, doing whatever's necessary. Unorthodox shot that we've all seen, but effective with it, but rebounds, plays defense, and boxes out on the main thing. So, hey, Melbourne United looking good.
All right, we're underway. It's the second of our doubleheader. Saturday night, Hungry Jacks NBL. The Adelaide 36ers, we know, they are sitting down the bottom, but they have that 1998-99 championship team all there watching them tonight. They want to put in a good showing as Lyle Chul goes straight at Humphreys early.
Design play. I think they want to really go at Isaac and test him out.
Vasiljevic looks to be aggressive.
Fantastic start. Illy's got the job on DJ, trying to corral him, but that's a perfect start. Get him to the lane, draw a foul, get the confidence up early.
And this start is just going to be chock full of emotion with the fans and the players as we see DJ get to the cup, because they've just had the announcement, they've just wheeled out that championship team. There's a buzz going on, and any athlete that's played at the top and you hear that ovation, that's may not last long, Joey, but the first 5 minutes, they should generate a lot of emotion from that.
Well, starts are going to be crucial for the Adelaide 36ers. They've only led at quarter time 4 times this season, so they've had to play a lot of catch-up as this man just helps himself to an easy 2, continuing on his good form from Thursday night.
Just walked down the lane. It just parted for him. Design play again, looking for the Spain action with JLA. JLA does what he does best, protect the paint, blocking shots and getting out and running.
Well, that's why he's the #1 shot blocker in the competition, as Delvin Over and JLA just not quite on the same page. You built it up, Rowdy.
I built it up, and first play, Daly lets me down. Thanks, mate.
You see what the Melbourne United are doing here? They pick up full court, and it's relentless, and they've got the depth to be able to maintain that for the full 40, and not all teams have that depth to be able to do that.
Here's Jacob Wiley looking to be aggressive, turnover.
And Simon Mitchell broke down how the Cairns Taipans got on top of Melbourne United, and a lot of it had to do with the way in which they attacked Chris Golding on the defensive end. So you would suspect that the Adelaide 36ers would have seen what's happened and see if they'll also try to get Chris Golding in that those defensive ISO situations.
Well, Chul just hasn't quite got the touch at the moment as Trey Kell tried to throw it up for Wiley. Another turnover. There you go. United in transition again. They feed JLA, and he draws the foul.
We still had an open shot happening in here, Chris. Okay.
Had a double-double last time these two teams met. Joe Lualachul, the 15 points, 12 rebounds in round 11. Of course, these two teams have met twice this season. Melbourne United winning both, but hasn't been as convincing as maybe we would have thought at one stage in round 1 when they met. The Adelaide 36ers led by 5 points in the 4th quarter. Couldn't hold on, and then when they met in round 11, they were within 4 points late in that 4th quarter. But as we've seen with Adelaide, they just let games slip.
Well, that's true, but if you look back at the history of it, Adelaide have won the first half against Melbourne United 4 out of the last 5 times. So they have got off to good starts, and they are highly competitive for big chunks of games. It's just their ability to sustain it.
If you want the flip side, Rowdy, Melbourne United have won 10 of the last 12 meetings between these two sides. So
That's all that matters really. The end as DJ gets going again.
They've won 5 of their last 6 in Adelaide, Melbourne United. But it's a good start for the 36ers. Vasiljevic being aggressive. Stelvedova gets into the paint, normally gets at the fall.
They've had quite a few at the rim. JLA's had a few that just haven't gone down yet. This is what we want to see. The big fella going to work in low, down low, finally getting a touch in the game, and he's going to have a big night, both offensively and defensively, for Adelaide to be in this one.
Good feed from Golding. Over wide open, was able to knock down a couple against the Kings as Bowen gives up the look. Good defence from the 36ers.
3 seconds on the weak side. Joe Lualachul. That last move by Isaac, the thing I like about it the most, there's no hesitation. As soon as he got it, he's not squaring up. He's in attack mode as soon as he gets it. And using that big body. Getting to the body of Luala Chul.
As Cal gets that to fall.
Oh, hello. He shot the lights out.
A nice start by the 36ers. Dean Vickerman calls an early snooze timeout. That's what we want to see, Rowdy.
Hey, this perfect start for Adelaide, getting the crowd involved, the emotion, the energy that we've already talked about. United look kind of shaky. They look a little unsure about themselves. They're not executing or finishing out the rim like they usually do, but great start for Adelaide.
We spoke about the energy in the building with some of the past greats in there. We spoke to Scott Ninnis pre-game to see whether he just brought a few of them into the club this week.
Oh, look, I don't know about brought into the fold, but I still speak to Brett Maher. He's been my best mate for all these number of years, so I still lean on him quite often. And I've extended an invitation to any of the past legends. I speak to Mike McCoy quite regularly. I've sent messages to Mark Davis, Al Green, Peter Allied, David Spear, etc., etc. You're right, it is such a rich history. It'd be naive of me to think that I can't use those guys' experience.
We saw during the week a few of them did get down to training. They've got those throwback jerseys on, and I think Rupert Sapwell was down at training to present the jerseys. Mark Davis. What do you remember about that 98-99 Adelaide 36er side? Daisy, they were pretty formidable.
Yeah, just the talent they had. And Phil Smythe, it was the start of the five-out era where he's coming down and it was free-flowing, the ball was moving, and it was just a beautiful brand of basketball they played, and combined that strategically with the talent they had, and it was a really fun team to watch.
I'm sure it'll be a fun night for that crew as well, as Luala Chul that time gets on the board. Good feed from Ellie. We saw you just chat to Brett Maher earlier and Phil Smythe. You know, those interviews will be more fun, Gazy, about three-quarter time, fourth quarter, when they've just knocked a couple back. They enjoy the festivities. Now Wiley looks to go to work on the mismatch. Interesting to see whether Luke Travers gets any minutes tonight. I know he's suited up against the Sydney Kings on Thursday. Didn't play. He's listed at the moment. Interesting to see whether he does get some court time. Here's Chris Golding.
Doesn't take much, does it? We haven't spoke about Chris to start the game. He hasn't been involved in anything, and one touch, 1 3. He just doesn't miss. He's on an absolute streak, a tear shooting it from outside.
Well, he's nailed at least four three-pointers in 10 of his last 11 games. In fact, 16 of 19 games this year as the man who's third in the competition for three-pointers made, DJ Vasiljevic.
Well, DJ's the closest thing we've got to Chris Golding. When you look at leagues throughout the world, and we watch a lot of NBA, and each team has 2 or 3 Chris Goldings. But here, with the way, the style of play, DJ is probably the closest thing we've got with some of the shots that he's able to take and make. Is have a look at the Harvey Norman replay, and this is what we're talking about. Doesn't need any space. You saw it from Chris Golding that last time. Now, Chris was coming off the move, but that time there, they don't need a lot of separation.
Dellavedova helps himself to a couple of points.
Yeah, and get back to that point. There's a lot of great shooters here in the NBL, but spot shooters, not being able to come off screens at full pace, stop and pop, and elevate. Chris Golding is obviously one of few, but DJ is probably the closest to that, being able to score off the ball.
Well, the rate at which Chris Golding's going, only 2 players in the history of the NBL have made more three-pointers per game in a season. This man, Andrew Gaze. About
12 times.
No, only once. 4.7 threes back in 98, 89. And Shane Heal averaged 5 three-pointers made a game.
Wow.
Back in 1994. And they were both all shooting at about 43%. So pretty good clip.
No, the Hammer was in a league of his own when it come to letting it fly from the three-point line, and he did it for a long period of time and won a championship with the Kings because of it. And it's a different style of play, different times as far as 48 as compared to 40. And the athleticism these days is far superior when we used to run around.
2 of the best three-point shooters out here. There's another one, Ian Clark. Talk about effective and efficient three-point shooters. He's probably the #1 man coming off the bench, Ian Clark. There's Dellavedova. Again, looks to attack. Good defence for the 36ers. Here's Marshall. Getting the starting gig ahead of Trenton Flowers. And they want to get it to Humphries. Porty's checked in. Good defence. Good hustle from Isaac Humphries. He might have hurt Clark in the process, but that's what Scott Nennis will want to see. They're going to have to wipe up the floor.
It is. It looked like Clark might, when he stretched his arm out, I was just worried about his shoulder as he dives on the ball. Check it out. You reach out, you got your arm extended. Ooh, that can be dangerous, but he looks okay. And I don't know about you, Rowdy, but the thing that I'd be nervous about if I'm an Adelaide 36er, Ian Clark, he spent some time here, so he knows the gym, the familiarity of the gym. A lot of people say, it's the same rings are the same, the court's the same dimensions, but it really isn't. And to have that familiarity brings about some confidence.
Yeah, especially good memories like that. You're always a little bit more confident in gyms that you've shot well in and played really well. There he is.
Right
just on cue. Well done, Gazy.
Played the 11 games last season for the Adelaide 36ers. Back at home, his former home for the first time. Gets off the mark as Marshall dumps it off to Humphries, helps himself to another couple.
The penetration, the Adelaide 36ers, is unusual against a Melbourne United team.
Well, that was that matchup. I think that was Goulding guarding him on the ball, as you alluded to earlier. Trying to attack him, he's going to give you points offensively himself, but it seems to be the key is trying to attack him defensively and take him out of the game a little bit.
Good find from Clark. Saw Bowen had position. We'll get to the free throw line.
Based on what we're seeing here, I think it's highly unlikely that Travis is going to participate in this one. You suspect it. If he was, we would have seen him already. And with the buffer that they've built up, they don't want to take any risks. And one of the things that goes under the radar a little bit is that this Melbourne United team has dominated the competition, but they've had to deal with significant players being out throughout large stretches of the season. And it speaks volumes for the system that they've been able to build. Of course, talent has a lot to do with it, but the system you put in place just to plug the player into the system has been a big part of their success.
I think going on that, the role clarity from Coach Vickerman, putting players in positions to be successful, being able to adapt on the fly with injuries, and just having a wave of players, talented players he can put in. As Kokkinakis in the building, taking in the NBL.
We'll try and see if we can have a chat to him later in the game. Of course, gearing up for the Australian Open later this month. And Starling gets down to Vasiljevic, who's going to get to the free throw line. Already got the 8 points.
They run an Iverson cut here, and it's the back door. And the timing wasn't good on this play, but they were still able to find DJ Vasiljevic for a cheap basket around the rim. Gets fouled. Jason Cadee seeing some early minutes. Been a tough time. I know he's a veteran, been around a long time, been a high-quality player at the NBL for many, many years, but had a couple of DNPs, limited minutes. And when you talk about clarifying your role, it would be a difficult period for him, albeit that he's got the maturity and the experience to deal with it. It's still not easy.
No, it'd be really frustrating, and he's that veteran leadership that I think they've missed at times on the court. And but he's the ultimate professional. He does the right things, takes care of himself. He's ready when he's needed to come. As same play again, getting in Clark on his right hand, pick and roll, being able to finish up the glass. It's just a great offensive set they've gone to a few times now. But Cadee, he's going to be ready. When his time comes like it is now, he's going to be ready to play, do the right things, as I've given him a turnover. So it's gotten a bit scrappy, actually.
They got it back.
And Chris Goulding just threw it straight to Galloway. Put his hands to his head straight as soon as he did it. Here's Vasiljevic looking to be aggressive. Already got the 10 points.
It's 5 turnovers for Melbourne United. And that's high by any stretch, but on the season, they only average 12 per game. So and there's another one. We speak about players that this guy here was a 30-minute plus guy the last couple of seasons, Mitch McCarron, and hasn't, now with the change of the coach and the different priorities they have, his role has changed significantly.
Vasiljevic against one of the best defenders in the league. Step back, 12 first quarter points for DJ.
Sometimes you can play great defense and offense just makes a shot. He's come out ultra aggressive. Once you see a few go in to start the game, you feel a lot more confident and willing to take. That's a great quick hands from Adelaide and getting out on the run. They need to keep building off this energy.
Wide open. This should be bread and butter for a man who's feeling it. That is 15 first quarter points, and he's got a bit of swagger about him.
And good find in transition. You know the guy's hot. And wide open, easy one for DJ.
As Krebs gave up the 3 look and helped himself to it too. He was important against the Sydney Kings Thursday. 3 threes in that third quarter where they blew the game wide open. Vasiljevic, a bit of a heat check.
Yeah, heat check.
You know, they're the ones I reckon he's just got to be a little bit cautious. Things are going well. And that was from way out. Contested.
Here's Daly. Has a good look at it. Just leaves that one short. They're looking to push the ball. The Adelaide 36ers. Here's Starling. The defence again from Porty. And a clear focus from Scotty Innes. They've upped the points per game, Adelaide, from 82 to 91. Under his tutelage. Problem is on the defensive end. They've gone from conceding 89 points to conceding 100 a game.
Yeah.
Tough to win games.
My maths is not good, but I'm not sure whether that's a net gain. Is it what were the numbers?
Well, it's fun for us.
Yes.
As Galloway.
That's great effort.
You get the points to count. Good second effort. You like the intent from Adelaide 36ers ready this first quarter?
They've played with a lot more energy and enthusiasm than even United. And this is a strange lineup. DJ's obviously the scorer out there, but they've got to be able to create extra possessions and get themselves cheap baskets like Galloway just did.
Now, basketball fans, don't miss this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to see 3 key members of the Chicago Bulls, 6-time NBA champions of the 90s, when they partner with the NBL and TEG Live to bring Scottie Pippen, Horace Grant and Luke Longley to Australia. The Noble Tour, presented by Coca-Cola, and an interactive storytelling experience, consists of 3 epic shows: Hobart, Melbourne, Sydney, this February, hosted by Shane Jacobson. It's an event not to be missed. Going to the Chicago Bulls inner sanctum, the never-before told stories of one of the greatest teams ever. Tickets start at $79 and are available nbl.com.au/nobull.
Well done, Joey.
Thank you.
Big long read there, but it's well worth the read and it's well worth the investment to go. If you're a basketball fan, in fact, if you're just a sports fan, to go and hear from 3 players from arguably one of the greatest teams ever to play basketball, it'll be intriguing.
Well, The Last Dance is one of the great documentaries. You just get another insight as Tanner Krebs continues his fine form.
We get more of a story and more of input from Luke Longley, and could you imagine the stories behind
Well, he was
the
the one
scenes?
really that was left out of The Last Dance documentary, so
He was
more of an insight.
Yeah, and look, talk about heyday of basketball and one of the greatest teams ever. To get an insight like that with 3 champions, it's something you can't miss. It's a great offensive play. It's a great dive.
And you know why it's a great play? Because it was in response to what the defense was doing. They are hard showing on the on-ball screen. So they flash and you hit the roller. See, now he didn't really hard show, but he was showing, Krebs, and no ball pressure, and straight away there's the dive and the pass. Beautiful execution set up on the basis of what the defense was doing.
It was important from Starling to come up and flash up and shorten that pass to make it a quick pass out of the pick and roll coverage. But Adelaide playing well, playing with confidence. Got their tails up right now.
We've got 27 points in a quarter against, in my opinion, the best defensive team in the competition.
Well, their best first quarter for the year is 29 points. They won't quite get that as they give up. No, they don't. So it's only their 5th quarter-time lead this season. Melbourne, well, they've given up a quarter-time lead their last 4 games. They won't be worried, but the Adelaide 36ers, they're in this one. Don't go anywhere. Big second quarter still to come. Now, quarter time, Adelaide Entertainment Centre in front of the 98-99 champs. They've got their 25-year reunion. That's why they've got their throwback jerseys. And they've got some energy in the building, and it's been largely off the back of this man, DJ Vasiljevic, averaging nearly 19 points a game this season, has 15 in the first quarter, Rowdy. And when a shooter is hot, he can continue this for the whole game.
He's going to need to for Adelaide to stay competitive in tonight's game. He's up to a red-hot start. There's
Chris Lynn in the house, one of the biggest hitters of the cricket ball in world cricket. Got his Adelaide 36ers jersey on, enjoying the basketball, enjoying what he's seen. What'd you make of the first quarter, Gazy?
Yeah, impressive by the Adelaide 36ers. We spoke about the emotion that they're going to get from the celebrations of their 25th anniversary for their championship, and it's come to fruition. And Mitch McCarron with a floater. And I love to see an aggressive Mitch McCarron. A lot of the times he's a facilitator and he does it really well. But to me, he can bring so much to the table offensively with his scoring as well.
Yeah, he's at his best when he's aggressive offensively, looking for his own and for others.
Good ball movement by United, but good defence as well from the 36ers. But in the end, Dellavedova was able to get to the paint. Got the 4 points. Coming off one of his best games since really early in the season when he started like a house on fire. Had the 9 assists as well with those 16 points. Equal career high for Dellavedova against the Sydney Kings. Strong bounce-back win. And that was an arm wrestle in the first half, and they were able to blow it open in the third quarter. And they're certainly in a fight early in this one. There's Cal. That's a nice finish.
Bails him out there. That was a scrappy offensive possession for Adelaide. Bit of miscommunication. Players unsure exactly what we're running, but when you've got an offensive player who can just make a play by himself, it definitely gets you out of tricky situations.
Wow, Chul get to the free throw line.
We got called for the foul, and here they called it because there was a shuffling of the feet at the end of it that probably would have resulted in a travel.
As we saw pre-game, gets to the free throw line almost as much as anybody, 4th in the competition. Shoots at 64% from the stripe. This is the first again, just to tease the kids, get them excited. Now this little stat, Rowdy. Joe Chul, 27 consecutive games he's scored in double digits away from home as he's given the kids the burgers they're after. Code word slam. Just download the app. That'll make their night.
Now to will. Some hungry kids on the way home, get some cheeseburgers. You say 27 games in a row.
Yep. He's scored in double digits away from home.
It just goes to how consistent he's been and how good of a player he is as Bowen gets his hands in there defensively. I've been really impressed with his development over the year and defensively, being able to play with some of the best forwards in the league.
We saw Cole Bowen's active hands against South East Melbourne in the throwdown not too long ago. It's their 7th turnover, Gazy, for Melbourne United, so just a little bit sloppy.
It is, and give a little bit of credit to what the Adelaide 36ers are doing. There's a genuine effort on the defensive end that's contributing to those 7 turnovers.
There's Cal again, helps himself to another 2.
He's good in the on-ball situation. He's really good because not only can you do that, we saw that last 2 possessions now, those little funky floater-type shots that he can hit, but he's also very good at distributing the ball.
So they turn the ball over again, Melbourne United. Chris Golding there, just stuck on the 1 field goal attempt at the moment. That was a 3-point made. Always finds himself under so much defensive pressure. We saw against the Sydney Kings. Took a while to break the shackles.
Yeah, I'm not too worried about him. Only needs a few possessions to completely change a game. But I've been really impressed with Adelaide's intent defensively. And really surprised at how easy they've been able to get into the lane and scoring at will right now against what we believe is one of the best, if not the best, defensive team.
It's a mismatch down low.
Again, Dellavedova leaves his 3-point attempt short.
While Chul had McCarron on him, and normally his eyes would light up after the last turnover. Perhaps just wanted to take his time, get in a better spot.
Here's Clark.
Back to that Spain pick and roll they've been very effective with as JLA pops for three. I think that's the one where you want big fella to roll, get his head on the rim, put real pressure on the rim.
Just lacking their usual energy, Melbourne United, at the moment. Quite happening on the offensive end.
No, usually it's some sort of big play, big shot from Chris Gordon that gets them going, but they've just lacked it, and Adelaide's been really good defensively.
They talk about the defensive pressure of Melbourne United. We know how good they are defensively, Gazy, but really the offense has absolutely skyrocketed.
Yeah.
It's early in the year, they only scored 100 points once out of their first 8 games. They've scored 100 points in 10 of their last 11. Sorry, 7 of their last 8. They've scored 100 points.
Yeah.
Like, offense has been flying for them lately.
Yeah, they're very efficient, and of course, when you've got the talent that can shoot the ball like they do, and Trey Kell is looking through a purple patch.
He's got 10 points.
With his shooting. But you're right, their offense has been super efficient and unselfish, prepared to make the extra pass, get it through hands, turning down good shots for great shots.
Chul wasn't quite getting it done, so they turned to hook 40. Let's take a look at the Harvey Norman replay. This was Trey Cal, starting to feel really good about himself. He said in round 11, Vasiljevic and Cal had 45 points between them. They've already got 25 points between them early in this one.
He's dynamic offensively. As you see, shooting the three. We've seen him touch to the mid-range, hitting those little floaters, runners. He can score at all 3 levels and playing with confidence. When you have a triple-double the last game, you got a little bit of confidence behind you.
Well, that's right.
Heard Dean Vickerman and Matthew Dellavedova talk about Hook Porty's progression this year as he's gone on. Just little nuances of the game, setting picks, his aggression to attack the boards.
Oh, he's
really
matured.
developing as a player.
Really matured, got his body right too. You can see in that year he had off last season with the Achilles out for the entire season. He's worked on his body and it shows. So demonstrates a really good work ethic.
They keep the intensity up here, the 36ers. Humphries, that helps. There's the aggression.
Straight catch and rip. Catches at the elbow. Straight rip, and both Wala Chul and Hook Porty have had problems with that.
He's been caught napping, just actions going on the other side of the court and just not paid attention to the direct man, and Humphries has been aggressive.
Leads 11 points. Just giving Melbourne United coaching staff something to think about. Look to push it again with Detch. Wiley. Here's Humphries. Again, just puts the head down. Bowen pulls down the board. Wiley is ready for that play, the alley-oop from Dellavedova to Hook Porty. So he kicks it out, and Bowen, who knocked down a couple of threes Thursday night, gets that one to fall.
Just playing his role, unorthodox shot as was spoken about, but keeps making them. If you make them, it doesn't matter how it looks as long as it goes in, but he's just playing a real good role tonight, taking the shots when needed. Kadib. There's a lot of contact under the rim there.
Offensive foul on Sunday, Detch.
Hold, good ball.
He's got the defensive job. A foul
Wrapped him around the back.
has been called on Chris Golding, in fact.
I think it's because as he was going up, he reached around in a box-out attempt, but on first impressions, seeing it live, it looked like it was going to be a push in the back.
His first foul of the night, Chris Golding. As Vasiljevic hasn't scored since those 15 first quarter points. He has now.
They're just killing him on the side-on balls. There's no help on that nail, the middle of the key. They've just been able to go straight down the lane and be real effective making those floaters, tough little finishes that some teams live with. They say beat us with those kind of shots over our length and athleticism, but Adelaide have been able to do that so far.
Dean Vickerman turns to his bench to try and get a bit of energy. Ian Clark, Tanner Krebs, Brad Newley checks into the game.
Well, that's an early sighting for Brad Newley. This is Dean Vickerman just not happy with his team and just trying to find a group that can play the way he wants them to play.
Is Newley coming in, meaning Travers is probably not playing tonight?
100%.
Here's Porty, height advantage on Vasiljevic. Couldn't get that to drop either.
DJ did a good job of keeping his position, not letting Porty get close to the rim where he could use his size and finish over him, force him away from the hoop, made it a much tougher shot.
Humphries, nice bit of footwork. And he's up to 8 points, and they're back up to 12-point lead.
They're having their way with them. As you mentioned, they're both the on-ball situation or even just the catch and drive. Very uncharacteristic of the Melbourne United and their defence.
We're in a snooze timeout. 12-point lead to the Adelaide 36ers. Melbourne United just with a little bit of thinking to do. Vasiljevic 17 points. Trey Kell with the 10. Isaac Humphries working himself up to 8 points. No one's really hit their straps for Melbourne United as yet.
No, they've just been a little bit sluggish, both offensively and defensively. Not moving the ball with the usual crispness, not being able to get Goulding involved in the game to generate some energy and enthusiasm with some of the tough threes that he's able to make and bail him out of situations. So, look, they're a little bit flat. Can they cut into this lead before halftime?
Well, we were able to see earlier, we saw Tanasi Kokonakis, world number 65 at Australian Open coming up. He's been kind enough to join us. Tanasi, thanks for your time. The Adelaide International, you won it a couple of years ago. I believe you're over there for the tournament, but you've come to watch some basketball. Yeah, are you a big fan?
I am. I love my basketball. I haven't been to an NBL game in Adelaide for a while, but yeah, a couple big weeks leading in. So yeah, super happy to be back in Adelaide, and yeah, good to catch a game while I'm here.
And how is everything, preparations for the Oz Open going?
Yeah, good. I had a bit of an injury sort of end of last year, so I missed Davis Cup finals, but happy now. I'm healthy, and yeah, I've got a couple of weeks leading in. Hopefully I can get some matches this week where I've got great memories, and yeah, hopefully I'll play well.
And we're going to miss that combination with you and Nick. Well, are we going to miss that combination with the doubles? You set us the Australian Open alight a couple of years ago. How's that panning out with Nick?
Yeah, unfortunately the big fella's injured this year, so he's missing the Aussie Open, but we definitely have to run it back. The crowd was rocking there last year, and Melbourne loved it, so we've got to definitely do it before we hang the rackets up again.
Well, great to see you, Tanasi. Thank you for your time. Good luck for the summer of tennis. We will be rooting for you, and hope you enjoy the game tonight.
Appreciate it, boys. Thank you.
Good man. Good luck.
Big summer of tennis coming up. We've got a rock star, Tanasi Kokonakis, playing some good tennis too. As I said, won the Adelaide International a couple of seasons ago. He's made ATP winners. Trey Kell continues his good form.
Sometimes when you're hot, and I think he thought he got fouled on that one, just threw up a bit of a prayer, but the gods, the basketball gods shining on Adelaide tonight.
11 of 17, the combination between him and DJ. DJ 6 of 10. Trey Kell 5 of 7. So Melbourne United having all sorts of problems, both guarding the perimeter as well as the penetration. 4 of 10 for the Adelaide 36ers from the three-point line.
They've only led at half-time 3 times this season, Gazy. Adelaide 36ers. As I said, the first halves have been an issue. They've been playing a lot of catch-up. So this is a really positive first half for basketball. As Clark can't get there to go. Neither can Chul. He just hasn't quite got his touch at the moment.
Now, these are the little ones that they make all the time. You see them, they're little bunnies at the rim that just aren't falling tonight for United.
There's a bit of a stench about this game of what we saw against the Cairns Taipans a couple of nights ago, where just things aren't, it's not necessarily their play's poor, they're just not finishing at the offensive end shots they normally make, and defensively, a little bit too much latitude.
Well, Krebs might be the one to get them going. As we said, it was him on Thursday night in that third quarter. Gets it back to 9 points.
Nick Marshall back in the game. He played those first 5 minutes and had 4 assists, so he came in and really was doing some good things, distributing the ball.
Cal is feeling it. Haven't seen Trenton Flowers at all yet in this game. Billy looking to push the tempo. Sets up Golding.
You're okay with that for United, and I love the guards of United. When they get in the paint, they're looking for one per. They're even looking for the roller on the rim, or looking for Chris off some sort of action to get him a shot.
Well, there's been a struggle. There's Flowers for Chris Golding. He's only got the 2 field goal attempts, 1 of 2, and that last one was a contested 3. So that they need to also look at their method and how they're going to try and free him up a little more.
Vasiljevic was able to get a little bit of separation off Shea Ili. Another offensive board, sets up Cal. That's way off. Dellavedova will try his luck again. 4th time lucky for Delhi. Knocks down his first triple. They get back within 6 points, and Scott Ninnis has called a timeout.
Yeah, certainly need that timeout. There's momentum building here for Melbourne United. And with Delhi knocking it down, we all thought at the start of the season that it was going to be the 3-ball that was going to be the most improved part of his game. Early on in the preseason, in the first couple of games, he was lights out, certainly in that preseason. But since then, he hasn't really been able to get that consistency from the 3-point line, only shooting at 26%. But the thing I respect about Delhi is that here he is at his age, and for all that he's achieved, including an NBA championship ring and playing a significant role on an NBA championship team, he continues to work at his game. You see the way he's trying to correct his form, and that's really hard to do when you've got later into your career. So I've got nothing but admiration for the way in which that he clearly got a love of the game and continually striving to get better.
The hardest thing is to change habits, especially shooting at a late age. But he's a hard worker and never stops trying to improve.
Don't miss your chance to be part of the world-famous Harlem Globetrotters Global Tour as they take the court. Moments of extreme basketball innovation and fan fun coming down under to a city near you. So get your tickets, www.hg2024.nbl.com.au. You ever seen the Globetrotters?
My word, I was 9 at Kooyong.
Yes.
Loved every minute of it. And if I'm going to try and get along again this year, and surely they do the confetti in the bucket. That's the one that was the thing the most, all those years ago, that's the thing I remember the most.
Just going to need to hang in here, the 36 that have been so good in this first half as Golding's been called for a hands foul. Never likes it when he gets a call, Goldie.
Well, what happens with Chris Golding, and you know he's somewhat of a polarising figure because he's so good. When you see the amount of physical contact that he has to deal with down at the offensive end as Humphries gets to the cup and finish, I can appreciate why he might get a little sensitive and nervous when there's a little touchy one down the other end, because he knows what he's going through down the other end just to get open.
He's been held and grabbed and top locked and bodied and whatever it is, trying to deny him the basketball, and sometimes those little hand ones can get, as we get a travel there.
Yeah, travel call.
And those little ticky-tack ones they can break your spirits, they can just make you mad. And think about Gordon, when he gets mad, it's usually 3 going up and it's going in.
Done a pretty good job to hang in here, Melbourne United. Certainly Adelaide have had the better of this first half. More energy, their offense has flowed. Down by 8 points, Chris Golding might make it 5, might make it 4. He only needs a millimetre of space.
When you're coming off a handoff, and I feel for Nick Marshall here because he was locked in, he was on his hip, but this is just an elite shooter. He's right there, maybe a half a step below, but you need a bit more help. See how deep Isaac Humphries is? Now, that's not bad defense for 80% of the players in the competition, but if it's Bryce Cotton or Chris Golding coming off those handoffs, you need to be at least close enough to wave your hand to provide at least some form of resistance.
Yeah, you got to feel for Marshall as well, because he got a screen before the handoff as well.
Correct.
So he's trying to chase through 2 bodies to stay connected to the best shooter in the NBL. He wasn't getting too much help from the big fella.
They led by 11 points, 12 points in fact, at one stage through this second quarter. Melbourne has done a great job to get it back to 4. This will be the final play of the first half. Can they finish with a basket, get some real momentum at halftime? They'll get it to Vasiljevic. You know he's going to let it fly. Again, can't quite get it to fall. But still a really positive first half by Adelaide.
Well, DJ forced that one up, end of the half, and really didn't get to see too much of him. He exploded in the first quarter with the 15, only has the 17. So Melbourne United doing a better job in that second quarter.
Yeah, they made an emphasis, and Illy's done a much better job getting over screens. There's been more help side, focusing in on DJ, because he's the one who's been killing him early.
Outstanding offensive performance by the Adelaide 36ers. They shoot it at 51% from the field, and it's tough to keep that going, but great start.
Well, Trey Call's been kind enough to join us. Trey, good first half. What's pleased you the most?
I just think our intensity, but our biggest thing is the past couple games, you know, the third quarter's been kind of bad for us, so that'll be a big focus for us to have time to keep that intensity we had these first 2 quarters and keep it going in the next half.
And you're playing with a lot of confidence at the moment, mate. What is needed from you in the second half to help Adelaide get the win?
I think if I find that balance of scoring and getting others involved, I found a pretty good groove of doing that, you know, since I've been more of the lead guard, to say. So just trying to find that balance, you know, help us to keep everyone involved and, you know, happy with touches.
Well, get in, freshen up, Trey. We appreciate your time. Big second half for the Adelaide 36ers and yourself to try and cause a boil over here at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre. The 36ers are leading Melbourne United by 4 points.
It was the first one we're not going to talk about, but take us back 25 years ago. What's going through your mind, especially when the second one hits, because it certainly helped us out.
Look, yeah, that was obviously a very important game, semi-final. I kind of eternally grateful to David Smith for letting me redeem myself on my first brick, but, you know, first of all, it was fantastic to be part of that group, and, you know, nothing but great memories there.
You get to have a look around tonight, and as we said, it's the first time a lot of people have seen Darnell Mead back in Australia, which is absolutely awesome. How's it been for you?
Yeah, he's been staying at my house, so not as good as in my bench, but no, he's been great. Look, great to have Darnell. What an unbelievable player. One of those guys that slots in, does everything, 5 times defensive player of the year. One of the greats of Australian basketball.
We're going to head over to Paul Rees-Pinfield. Now, what we love doing is hating on the Victorians, and we love seeing what you would do on the court, but especially when you always walk past Brian Gorge, and now he's basketball royalty. Love to hate him respectfully, of course. Let's have a look at submission right now, and you're going to talk us through this afterwards. You see at the bottom there, Brian's having a crack. Oh, wow. He's not happy. So over to you, Paul Rees. Talk us through this moment, because we loved it.
Well, you can go through all the footage there, but the reality was, he, in my mind, he was walking across telling the referees what was wrong with that first half. And I felt I needed to represent the 36ers. And as I got close to the action, I set a screen on the man, he went down, jumped up, and honestly I looked at him and I thought, Montgomery Burns, if you want to go, let's go.
And it's worked out very well. Give it up for Paul Rees.
Half-time Adelaide Entertainment Centre, and we said pre-game, although it was first v bottom, anything can happen in NBL24. Adelaide, 4 of their 5 wins this year have been at home and in front of another large crowd. They have come out firing in this first half. They led by 4 points at quarter time and they're able to lead by 4 points at half-time, although the lead at one stage was out to 12 points. Ryan Brockhoff, Andrew Gaze, we take a look at some of the half-time numbers. What stood out to you?
Well, I think just the way in which the Adelaide 30s came out and started this game in a real positive fashion, aggressive at both ends of the floor, and they got rewarded for it. And when you consider they lead it by 4, and Jacob Wiley, who has been their most consistent player all season, has yet to trouble the scorers, they've put themselves in a decent position. We've seen this throughout the course of the season. Can they continue to be able to play at this level for the full 40 in order to get there?
Well, it is a special night. It is the 25th anniversary of that 1999 back-to-back title team. You can see some of the big names there, and we spoke about the energy in the house, Rowdy, and it was DJ Vasiljevic that really brought the energy. That's what he does really well. 15 first quarter points. He was on fire, just 2 in the second half, but when he gets going, Adelaide is such a good team. Yeah,
he's their best pure scorer, and his ability to get on the rim early opens things up for him to shoot from outside. He's been finishing well with these floaters, and he only needs that little bit of space just to get up that 3, but playing with unlimited confidence against 2 of the best defensive guards in the league. So Adelaide are going to need more from him in the second half, and if he continued this way, Adelaide rim was shot.
We'll take a look at the Blackmore's shot chart, Gazy. Sometimes the efficiency can be an issue for DJ, but certainly early he was shooting at an efficient clip.
Yeah, he got it going, both inside and outside. The penetration and the finishing around the rim, all those floaters, was really good. He's 2 of 5 from the 3-point line. Really, he should be 2 of 3, because the 2 that he missed were, I mean, that was Steph Curry would have thought, gee, that's a bit of a tough one. So he sometimes can fall into that trap when things get going. The self-belief and confidence goes a little bit too high. But he's been superb. Trey Kell's been great. Isaac Humphries down low, battling against 2 of the bigs and the best bigs in the competition, I think has been a real pivotal focus for him in that first half, and he's done really well.
Well, one of the big stories to be bubbling around the NBL in the last week has been Brian Goorjian speaking about wanting to coach domestically when his time with the Boomers is up after the Paris Olympics. We know he's a 6-time NBL champion. Can you see him back in the NBL, Gazy? Can you see him back in the NBL? And which team do you think would be a good fit?
Oh, of course you can, because he's going to be asked the question until he's done. Every single club, when a vacancy is coming up, Brian Goorjian is going to be top of the depth chart when it comes to coaches. So he is going to be asked, but the problem is you're not just competing with NBL teams. He is internationally recognised, and so I think that his experience in Asia and the other opportunities throughout the world will come into play. But let's hope he wins a gold medal and he just says, bugger this, I'll stick around and be Boomers coach until eternity.
Well, let's look ahead to the Boomers, because it's not far away. Paris Olympics is now coming, end of July. They've got to start to think about teams. Andrew Bogut has spoken about the balance of NBL players that are playing big minutes and NBA players. You know all about this, Rowdy. Realistically, how many NBL players can you see being on that final roster in Paris?
It's hard to put a number on it, because it is such a huge wealth of talent that we have now, both internationally and at home. So there's a few names. Goulding, one. I think he's the one shooter that sets himself apart. His ability to come off screens, change a game in only a few possessions is something that we missed with his playing time last time. So he's probably the one lock, if you want to have locks, but there's so many guys that are putting their hand up and are really going to challenge for this Olympics coming up.
How does Brian Goorjian find the balance, Gazy, between players that are playing big minutes and playing some really good basketball here at home versus the guys that are over in the NBA that aren't getting a lot of court time?
Yeah, well, it's tricky. I think with the veterans, it's a little bit different because they've got a huge body of work. You think of Paddy Mills and Joe Ingles, they're coming up with their 5th Olympic Games, so he just needs to know they're healthy and in shape. He won't necessarily would overly skew it because they're not playing too much. Although Joe this year has got a very pivotal role with Orlando. But when you think of those players here, I think Mitch Creek, now I know in that position that Mitch is there, that there is already a little bit of depth, but he's certainly playing to a level. And Nathan Sobey, he's one that if you go back to his best seasons, they always seem to come the year that the Olympics is rolling around. He was there in Tokyo, didn't get to play too much, and the season that he's having now, he would definitely be be considered. I think it's unlikely to get there, but certainly his form is another one that you'd look at to say would be a chance.
Well, it'll be a big talking point over the coming months, but the big talking point tonight will be, can the Adelaide 36ers cause the boil-over of the season and defeat the juggernaut that is Melbourne United? They lead by 4 points. Big second half right after this.
We are back here in a couple of days' time taking the Sydney Kings. This game is about your kids. Get to their shoes and sneakers polished and ready to show off. We've got a very special lineup performance all the way from the US. Big Rock is here for a halftime show. 2.7. Make sure you grab a ticket now from Tuesday. Oh, we've got some very special people in the house tonight. Adelaide Strikers. Does the goal take a look at how shiny Chris Lynn's head is? He has buffed that for tonight from the Strikers. He's waiting for the trumpet. Shiny head. Good merchandise, lady, you like it? Get your clappers out. It's time to clap again. Thanks to Home Start Finance. Here we go.
Welcome back, Hungry Jacks. NBL second half just moments away, and for all the positivity we've had on the Adelaide 36ers in this first half, Gazy, I have a stat coming up, a graphic. If you're an Adelaide 36er fan, look away now, because their third quarters last weekend, fair to say, were horrible. And they were in both games. They were trailing by the Perth Wildcats by 6 points, and they were completely outscored by 25 points. And then against Illawarra, they were leading at half-time and then blew the game in that third quarter. How do they rectify that this time? Do they do something different at half-time? What does it look like?
Well, first it starts with the recognition that that's happened, and I'm sure they would have spoken about it over the last couple of weeks, and perhaps we're seeing the makings of trying to do something different, because Jason Kadee gets to start in this second half.
And that is not the start that is going to help their third quarters, Rowdy, and for all that about the Adelaide's poor third quarters last weekend, we saw on Thursday night, Melbourne is when they blew the game open against the Sydney Kings. They won that quarter by 16 points and absolutely put those Kings to the sword.
Yeah, as we got some contact there with DJ. United's third quarter last game was incredible. Defensively, they really stopped Sydney and then got on fire offensively. And Adelaide have just got to hold on to that giant. Don't let Chris Goulden get started as he hits the three to start the quarter. And that'll help. Getting someone right down the rim. Another breakdown defensively from MU. And a great finish to get the crowd back into it.
I love the play too and the recognition. Joe Luala-Chul, they're trying to put some pressure on that inbound pass. And straight away with that back cut and the aggressive finish.
Here's Illy letting it fly from the other end. And just like that, scores are tied up.
They can punish you so many different ways, and Daly's vision out of the pick and roll. They see that Hugging Goulding, Humphreys a little out of control, but gets it up. Just leaves it a bit short. But United can just punish you so many different ways, and yeah, we just expect that one to go in with how he shoots the ball.
Here's Cal. It's been offense that's been the issue in their third quarters. That's going to help Trey Cal. The big three for Adelaide 36ers getting the job done. Trey Cal, 15 points, Humphreys 12 and Vasiljevic 17. As Illy, a good heads-up hustle play. Adelaide bench thought it was out of bounds. None of it.
That was just heads-up play by Shea Illy. Stayed with the play. Everyone thought and just concedes, oh, well, it's going out. And he was the only one that stuck with it. Caught him napping.
There's Jason Kadee. Jacob Wiley hasn't scored yet for Adelaide. It's been the big three. Here we go, Cal again. Not quite on the same page as Humphreys. Good feed from Wiley. Good defence from United.
They changed up their on-ball coverage. They're forcing it down, not letting the ball come to the middle, where they've just been picked apart in the first half, with guards being able to get through the elbows and get on the rim.
Nearly looking to find Goulding. Tough look.
That was really good defence by DJ Vasiljevic. They ran some flare screens. He had to work his tail off, and he made the commitment on the defensive end. Trey Cal is just seeing it as beautifully as you'd like. These are the moments you love as a basketball player. Everything you throw up, you know, is going to go in.
It's going to be a little bit better recognition from MU, and I think Chris Goulding, that one went under the screen as Trey Cal has hit a three in back-to-back possessions, and this one, these are the ones that they sometimes have a look at. Was he playing on the ball? But you can't go under a player who's just hit the three. As we go to the Harvey Norman replay. And he just made one, and he goes under the second screen and just opens it up for him. And he's just shooting the ball with so much confidence lately.
That's his fourth triple in this game. He hasn't done that at all this season. So he's feeling really good about his game. And Chris Goulding's picked up 3 fouls, Drewy. So is this where, if you're Adelaide, you look to attack Chris Goulding? More so than potentially what they might have been trying to do?
Well, absolutely. I think that the endeavour is to do that regularly. But now you've got to even be a little more heightened, because the best way to contain Chris Goulding is to have him sitting on the bench.
They want to try and get the Trey Cal, why wouldn't they? But Dellavedova all over him. So Kadee has to let it fly.
Adelaide just playing with such confidence and freedom offensively, and when the ball goes through the net, you tend to see the next ones go in. That was not an easy shot from Kadee.
7 of 16 from the three-point line. It's an area where they've had their challenges throughout the course of the season.
Yeah, ranked second last in the competition. Adelaide 36ers. Dellavedova's let a few fly.
That's important for Adelaide. Force him to tough shots, so that is a heat check, and not a pretty one. But Adelaide have to finish up possessions where they get tough looks.
There's Goulding.
Wrong person to lead. But they've got to finish off with defensive rebounds to be able to get out in transition and run on this Melbourne defense.
And that's a product of the bad shot down the other end. It really puts a lot of pressure on your defensive transition, and Chris Goulding was left wide open for his easiest three-point attempt of the evening.
That's his 4th three-pointer. That's now 17 games this year. He's hit at least 4 three-pointers. It's an incredible year. And he might not be done with yet. Seesaw in third quarter. Melbourne United levelled it up. Adelaide got quickly out to lead by 7. Dellavedova eyeballs Wiley. Gets to the paint and gets the finish.
Crafty by Matthew Dellavedova. He's got a big in him against him in Wiley, and just thought that through beautifully. The little hit to create the separation and the step back, he made it look a whole lot easier than it actually was.
Here's Vasiljevic, gets that to go. And the three we've spoken about have 49 of their 59 points. He's up to 19. And then picks up a cheap foul. Is it sustainable here, Gazy, to have Cal, Humphries and Vasiljevic do 85% of the scoring?
Well, it's not ideal, but it's working. And it's just a matter of continuing to do that. And they've made some tough ones along the journey, and can they continue to make those tough ones? It's down this end to me, as we see the follow-up on the rim. Porty tidies up the miss from Dellavedova. They're the types of plays, because you know the Melbourne United are not going to stop on the offensive end. Sure, they did it against the Cairns, and they only have the 70s, and there's a foul. And that's going to be 3 free throws. So but you've got to find a way to get stops
and finish it off with the boards. That one, Daly missed the layup. Humphries came over to contest the shot. Someone else has to come over and rotate and get Porty out of the paint, off the boards, so he can get out and run.
Porty's come in for Joe Luala-Chul, and just a nice little stat for him. He's just in that last rebound he had, has passed Josh Boone for the all-time rebounds record at Melbourne United. Joe Luala-Chul. So, sure, it's a long way to go in his career, and it's going to build up. And, you know, they've been around a while, but probably not as deep as some of these teams, but nevertheless,
put your name on that.
Nice stat.
Yes, exactly. It's nice little accolade for him, and he's been a real talent, real find since coming over to MU, and his development and growth over the years has been phenomenal.
And maturity with understanding, accepting his role, I think has been a big part of his development as well.
He turns 30 in March. Joe Luala-Chul Jr. Here's Dellavedova. He's been aggressive in this third quarter. Helped himself to another 2. He's up to 11 points. Second United player in double digits behind CG's 13.
But Adelaide have done a good job of keeping the game on their terms. As a tough shot. Defensively, I think you got a hard show and get the ball out of DJ's hands, but he's like this. But that's one of those tough ones that most players, you're like, yeah, you live with that. That's a tough shot, but DJ's on one tonight.
He's up to 25 points. He's feeling good about himself. Really good.
Maybe a foul on Humphries. It's going to be a tough shot. He doesn't like it. Forced him into something really tough. Trey Kell gets a spell. Spoke about Mitch McCarron changing his role as well, and the way in which he's had to accept that. He's only played the 6 minutes in the first half.
One shot.
Porty misses the first. And misses both. So that's the second time. These United boys have missed a couple of free throws. Can't pick back the 6-point lead. Again, Vasiljevic. He is feeling it. 28 points now. 4 of 7 from long range.
They've got to just get the ball out of his hands. Hard show on any pick and roll. Get the ball out of his hands. Great. Speaking of hands, great hands, causing deflection.
I think this should be an Adelaide ball. I think it just... I don't know if there was...
Hey, challenge it.
Any contact.
Challenge it.
It's a good comeback the officials have got these days.
That's a perfect one.
11 points this quarter for Vasiljevic, and then just an easy, cheap foul and a giveaway. Krebs will go to the line for a 3-point play.
That kills them. They're doing all this good work. DJ's making some huge shots to get the momentum, and they just have a letdown defensively, a miscommunication, a simple switch that doesn't work, and they give up potentially a 3-point play.
Make some noise
Tony Krebs into double figures, got the 10 points. She's been in really good form over the last 4 games, Tony Krebs, averaging the 10 points at almost 60% from three-point range.
Oh, I think this has been his best season in the competition for Tanner Krebs.
Picks up the hand check.
Hand check.
Been able to extend their lead. 36ers led by 4 at half-time, now lead by 7. They've got a tough run as well. This is the first of 5 games in 15 days for these Adelaide 36ers. They'll take on the Sydney Kings on Thursday night, and then they've got 3 road trips in a row. They go to Cairns on the Saturday, and play Southeast Melbourne on the 17th and Illawarra on the 20th. It's a tough little run. The energy's been good against the Adelaideers. Continue to hold them at bay. Inside 3 minutes in this third quarter. Alvadova continues to attack.
Really active Adelaide tonight.
That was a great defense.
Just a defensive possession. Locked in, hands active.
And the deflection was spot on. It wasn't reactive. It was being proactive on the defensive end.
It was Alex Starling that got the hand in. Here's Marshall, got McCarron and Starling on the floor with him, and just a couple of starters in Humphries and Vasiljevic. You think the offense will run through these two? There's Illy, all over Vasiljevic. And they get the stop.
I think he's trying to do just a little bit too much on that possession.
That's another example of the plays. That's going to be an offensive foul. Nick Marshall comes, just stops and props. McCourty trying to get to his spot. Have a look. Thought there was going to be a handoff and faked the handoff. And Shahili actually, in hindsight, drew a foul on his teammate.
That'll be one they laugh about after this, maybe, if they get a win.
Well, they've got some heavy lifting to do. The way this game, the pattern we're seeing right now is encouraging if you're an Adelaide 36er fan.
Yeah, Melbourne have thrown some punches. They've hit some deep threes. Goulding's hit a couple and gotten some momentum back to them, but they've been able to steady and find baskets themselves and get stops defensively.
Marshall trying to give the handoff. The issue is, you know, United will go the full 40 minutes. It's just been Adelaide's issue in a number of games. Just little lapses.
That was a great attack by Marshall, but coaches would tell you, you can't throw that chest pass right there in the paint. There's so many hands. It's either got to be a bounce pass to the big or a lob up.
Yeah,
I think we've got a challenge here.
Yeah, they go. They're going to challenge the out-of-bounds call. Always tough when there's hands in there. A couple of hands are in. And Steve Vickerman seemed pretty confident.
It didn't take him long to throw the challenge, so yeah, let's have a look at it.
Oh yeah, that looks like it's going to go Melbourne United's way. Did it come off Sterling? Oh no,
that looks like it's
no, that looked like it's Clark. This angle here.
I thought it was off his arm or chest here.
Yeah, there's the deflection off the fingers.
Did Sterling get a little touch of it after Clark or not?
It's very hard to see on these camera angles who gets the final touches, deflections.
I think it's going to stay.
I don't know if there's anything.
No, I don't think he does. Because it's got to be
definitive, right?
Absolutely definitive to overall. Yeah, it doesn't look like he touched it there.
What can Dean Vickerman do here, Randy? Who can he turn to try and just maybe spark them a little bit, just get them going a bit offensively? We've got Tanner Krebs has got the 10 points, Dellavedova's got 11. Chris Goulding, we know, he's got 4 from 7 from long range for his 13 points.
I think maybe getting inside, going and through JLA, letting him create, letting him get on the rim, draw some fouls, just get the scoreboard ticking over until Chris Goulding gets back on and run some sets for him to try and get him open for some threes.
Ooh,
It's so hard.
Yeah.
Every time I look, I think I see something different. So I don't know what the call's going to be.
It's taking a long time.
does Sterling get a clip on that or not? This angle here just gives a hint that there might have been a little touch, but gee whiz.
That's off
it's
Melbourne
not,
United.
it's not definitive,
No.
though.
Let's take a listen.
Upon review, the coach challenge is successful. We change the call to blue ball, baseline 24.
Well, there you go. Came off Starling's hands.
They had a good look at it.
Last time I'd bob up and have a crack.
Yeah, I'm usually pretty bad with these, but they had a long look at it, so they must have been pretty confident in what they saw.
They zoomed.
They zoomed.
Oh, they're cheating.
That's what it was.
Gosh.
But an important call for Melbourne United. I think the challenge call from Dean Dickerman just shows he understands the importance of these final 2 minutes of the third quarter. Can they pick it back? Clark can't get that to go.
And that's the one you want from Adelaide. A contested pull-up two with a rear contest from McCarron. That's a tough shot. And finishing with a defensive rebound.
No Humphries and Vasiljevic on the floor. So they turn to a bit of experience. Wiley, good feed from McCarron. That's a nice way to get your first points.
And it's the second and third. If they don't get the penetration the first time, the kick out, they're not settling, they're getting in there. And that was a beautiful drop-off pass.
Krebs again, clutch. Equal leading scorer for United with 13 points.
Just quietly goes about it, plays his role in the right spot at the right time, and efficient from outside. But Adelaide's done a good job of sharing the ball, getting it from side to side, moving United's defense and being able to get into the paint. Again,
Purely accidental, and good to see Jacob Wiley bounce to his feet. That's, I'm sure for you lads, you've been in that situation. Scary when you're in that tunnelling position.
Lucky he kind of got his arm down to help brace himself, but that'd be scary. The bucket counted too. I think he got the offensive tip, and it's just good to see him up on his feet and all right, because that could have been really, really nasty.
One shot. One rebound, one shot.
What is the two here? They're finishing strong. Still a minute to go, but this is 5 quick points. Only 5 points for Jacob Wiley.
They get it back to 9. Remember, Melbourne United levelled it up early in this quarter.
I think United have to go inside. A little bit of a mismatch with JLA and Wiley. Get him on the post.
There he's early. Found Luala, who's just been off his tucker tonight. Hasn't quite been at his best.
Just not clean, and Adelaide have done a great job tonight of getting hands to the basketball, forcing some turnovers, forcing some fumbles, and you see the effort and the intensity from Adelaide to get on the floor first, and what it means to them to on the celebration of the 25th anniversary championship.
Well, not only that, we walk all the way down the other end for a couple of free throws. So the fumble, which was going to be an easy 2, could end up 2. So potential 4-point play in what should have been the outcome.
There's Scott Dennis. Of course, superstar himself, and he'll be enjoying this 11-point lead. They don't want to give up any cheap buckets late in this quarter. They do on that occasion. Krebs again. 15 for him.
He's really stepped up in Travis' absence and playing that role as they get one on the rim themselves, and Marshall showing off the bunnies.
Just got there, but perfect execution again, reading the defense. They're up and in. They're trying to force Adelaide into pressure action, and the back cut becomes wide open.
Can they get a stop? Crowder on their feet. Clark attacks the paint, has 36's bodies everywhere. And they will go into three-quarter time with an 11-point lead. Not many people saw this one coming. Is there an upset brewing here at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre? We'll find out straight after this.
36ers family, as you know, you've got to think road safety on your drive home from the Adelaide Entertainment Centre tonight. We're going to make sure we are safe on the roads. Thank you very much for fantastic. It's time to bring out the slingshots, so give it up for your Sixers squad. If you want it, you've got to get down. Let's find out who wants it. Here we go. Murray's been practicing over summer. What do you got, Murray? Come on, Murray. We're looking for the loudest fans in the entertainment centre. Come on. Very nice. Let's keep on going. Watch out for Chris leading tonight's coffee makers. We need them healthy. Watch out for the athletes. Do not hit them. Oh my gosh. That is real bad. But that's okay. See how you go. Come on, Murray. Thanks for fantastic. One more. Hey, Steve, stop that music. 36ers family, we told you you are the best fans in Hungry Jack's NBL. Tonight we can officially announce our largest ever crowd is here tonight. 9,564. Hit that track. This is where we need you. Every pair of hands. Every pair of feet. This is our house. And this is our
Well, who said the third quarter was going to be an issue for the Adelaide 36ers? They have outscored Melbourne by 7 points. They scored 31 points in that third term to turn a 4-point halftime lead into a commanding 11-point lead at three-quarter time. And Andrew Gage, you just said off air, they're going to be hard to beat here, the Adelaide 36ers. Really, they should be winning this from here.
Well, they are. And coming off a 31-point quarter, that's unusual against a Melbourne United team. And it's the combination of Vasiljevic and Kel that have been getting it done. Not just the points. Check out the efficiency, both of them, from the field and the three-point line, getting it done. They've been lights out.
And this is against the two best defenders potentially in the league in Dellavedova and of course Shea Ili.
Yeah, Defensive Player of the Year, front runner Ili, and they've been able to put on a show and make some tough baskets offensively. Plays off the drill, being able to get into the lane, get whatever they want, and shoot at a high clip, which has been, I guess, Adelaide's trouble at points during the season.
Well, they need to finish the job. We just saw the ladder. We know it's first v last, but Adelaide, the fans have turned out again. Can they get this job done and get the second win for Coach Scotty Ninnis? They continue to go to their star power in Kalu. Hand it off to Starling. It's a nice start. His first points.
But again, just being able to get into the paint at will, using screens effectively off the ball. And because they're shooting it so well from the three-point line, defenders have to chase over those screens and allow them to get downhill, get other players involved, and find some easy baskets.
Ili, try his hand. He's short.
I'll live with that shot. Based on the numbers this season, Ili at just 20% or thereabouts from the three-point line. He's a better shooter than that, but the numbers don't lie.
Yeah, push the tempo. Here, Dean Vickerman. Ili. It's a smart foul from Mitch McCarron.
Play centre. I have a foul on blue 10. I want to review the play for a foul from the side in transition.
Maybe not a smart foul.
Oh. It's an interesting one, because I think there was one on Goulding earlier that looked quite similar to this.
Yeah, it is, and this is deep too. Like, it was almost in the three-point line. Inside the three-point line or thereabouts. Here it is. He reaches across. I don't think he's in a sound defensive position, and then it's just a poor reach. Ili with a slight grab as well. So, gee, I hope not.
Yeah, I think Ili helps with that little hook of the arm, sort of sell it a little bit. But they have been calling a few of these through the year that is it a realistic play on the basketball? I think it is. I think he's trying to get his hands on the ball.
Deflection?
Get a deflection, get a steal.
Ideally, what you want is McCarron to be sliding those feet, but his first action comes with his upper body, not his lower body. And as such, he's all out of position. But to start with, right there, he's in a sound defensive position right there. And then he just reaches. That to me, it's call it a semi-transition. Wouldn't call it necessarily. You see there's some blue shirts behind, or certainly in line with him.
I think that's what they're checking. See whether there was any defenders behind Mitch McCarron here.
Well, in line with him, I thought. Regular foul. And happy with that?
Yeah, I think just in the flow of the game, that's something that you can kind of live with. What you can't live with is Goulding coming off screen, setting threes, has recovered quickly. That's a tough find.
Here's Krebs, who's had the hot hand for Melbourne.
Boy, was that a great defensive set, particularly by Sunday Detch, guarding Chris Goulding, the work he had to do. Talk about living with things. They're going to live with that shot all night. Melbourne United.
Delvedova, Krebs, Hilly, Goulding in the corner. Maybe Delvedova again. It's into the paint, the turnaround.
Just great job defensively and being able to finish up possessions with some rebounds, but United didn't get it through anything. 2 on-ball screens, 2 slip screens at that. Easy switches, being able to keep players in front of you is really important to finish up plays.
It would have been a dagger from McCarron. Pick up another foul, the 36ers.
Well, for the Adelaide 36ers, the next 3 minutes decides this game. If they can just, at the very least, trade with them for the next 3 minutes, they're going to be in great shape.
Well, it's a snooze timeout. Adelaide 36ers are in a commanding position. They lead this by 13 points. So we spoke about the Bigs pre-game. Rowdy, Ariel Hukporti, Joe Luala-Chul, the Twin Towers, just 11 points between them on 4 of 12 shooting. They've really struggled to get anything going on the inside tonight.
Yeah, just being fumbly and just not clean with their hands, being able to finish things once they've got it in the paint, bobbling passes, missing some bunnies. It's been very unlike them. And Adelaide have done a good job of keeping them off the offensive rebound that they can finish straight after. It's been offensive rebound, having to fight for it, kick it back out. And you look at the other end, and Humphreys has been pretty solid with 12 and 3.
Adelaide United are in the box seat, leading this one by 13 points, and they are doing it in front
the Sixers,
of the... Sorry, what did I say?
Adelaide United.
Adelaide United. Adelaide 36ers, apologies. Are beating Melbourne United by 13 points, and it is the largest crowd we have ever seen at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre. 9,564 fans have packed the arena tonight, and they might be witnessing the boil-over of the season. Of course, special night, the 25-year anniversary of the 1998-99 back-to-back champs. They're also in the house.
And I reckon that's part of the reason they've got a great sporting history, great sports fans in South Australia, and paying homage to the greatness that was with that team 25 years ago.
And the fans are getting rewarded for continually showing up week after week, despite the season they're having. But they've got to finish the job, Rowdy. Still 7.5 minutes to go.
That's it. Finish the job. Don't get complacent now. Keep being aggressive. Being aggressive, getting downhill is what's put you in this position as Trey Kell tries to get to the rim.
Here goes Illy, off to the races.
Fine Goulding. Don't collapse in too far and leave the best shooter.
That was good by Sunday Detch. He did that, but Bowen can knock him down. We saw that Thursday, and it's just back to 8 points.
I spoke just before that last break about the next 3 minutes, and it started exactly the right way for Melbourne United. They need the Adelaide 36ers to start to feel a bit nervous about it. When you're 13 up, you've got that buffer zone. Now, all the history, everything that's been happening this season, and that ability to close, and the pressure that it puts on you, and there's genuine scoreboard pressure on them now.
Well, there you are, young fella. He said, please put me on the screen. It's my birthday today. And he got his birthday wish.
Happy birthday.
I got a few text messages.
Happy birthday from the GOAT as well.
Happy birthday. Well, there's the GOAT. Kenny Cole, what a legend. And great to see him. He comes to every game. He's got his regular spot, and he is a superstar of Australian basketball, one of the founding fathers of the game in this country. Of course.
Sorry,
let's not forget, when you think of superstars, Joey,
That's
and I know
right.
you've got a bit of a long read here, so shut up.
No, worry about that.
This is very important stuff.
Don't need the long read. Just get ahead and go along for the No Bull Tour 2024. Yes. How good will this be? Presented by Coca-Cola. Hobart, Melbourne, Sydney. If you're in the area, February, either buy tickets for yourself, buy some tickets as a birthday present, get some friends along. It's going to be an event you don't want to miss. Get into the inner sanctum of the Chicago Bulls and hear never before told stories about that team.
Never before.
Never before. There's some secret stories that we haven't heard from Horace Grant, Luke Longley, and Scottie Pippen. Maybe they might spill the beans on MJ.
Well, there's a few issues going on there, Joey, between Scotty and MJ, so I don't know how much of a deep dive they're going to get into all that, but that was one of the greatest combinations we've ever seen on a basketball floor between the two superstars.
Tickets available, NBL.com.au/Noble. So what did Scotty in there to speak to his boys about in the timeout? Probably getting the ball down to their big man.
It's a great finish, a great roll, pick and roll, but Italy made it a point. Don't let DJ catch the ball. Denied him all the way to half court. Now Adelaide have to be really solid in their communication, their switches. They're going to try and find something for Goulding. Don't get sloppy. Don't fall asleep. And that's a tough one. Sometimes you just got to live with offense making shots. A bank runner from the free throw line.
Silly coming off a season high, 19 points against the Kings. Got 11 tonight. This much vaunted Melbourne United defence gets some stops. Detch. I live with that United. They do get the stop. Melbourne over. Got some space. He's been short most of the night on his threes.
And a smart move that time by Isaac Humphries. Gave him the space with the mismatch. Oh, look out. Wiley in transition. And that's a huge basket in the context of this one.
Huge two possessions. Great defensively as we get to the Harvey Norman replay. Wiley just takes off in transition. Not a place you want to be as a defender. And finishes strong, but all set up by that defense. Forcing Daly just to take the easy way out, not attack the big, give him some space, force that shot, finish with the rebound, get out, and get on the rim.
That's the fourth foul to Chris Goulding.
Really love what Jacob Wiley's brought to this team this season. He's got the 7 points, but he didn't score in that first half. And there's just an inexcusable offensive rebound off a free throw. When you're trying to play catch-up, they are the buckets that you cannot afford to allow happen.
Just know that is going to come up on the film, and there's not going to be too happy Coach Vickman seeing that at an important time in the game.
Maybe just highlighting the difference between these two teams tonight. The attention to detail for 36ers. Melbourne just slightly off. We've spoken about Lual-Acuil. He's been slightly off, and look at the defence all over him. And they get a stop. And the crowd, the biggest crowd ever, get to their feet. They appreciate what they're seeing. And Wiley will just put the nail in the coffin.
You're going to love it. The energy in the place, it is going crazy. Huge defensive possessions. Back-to-back blocks as United call another snooze timeout.
Biggest lead of the game, 15 points. What a time to do it, and it was off the back of this defensive effort from the Adelaide forwards.
And that's one JLA usually finishes to begin with, but Wiley gets after it, Humphries gets after it, then no quit, and then get out in transition.
Well, they're playing 5-on-4 because Joe Lual-Acuil had done himself a mischief, and he wasn't back there.
Well, let's go take a listen into the Adelaide 36ers huddle and Scott Ninnis.
Let's just relax for a minute, okay? We've done a great job. We've got to continue the momentum. Krebs is back in the game, but he's going to be at the 3. So we still treat him. Yeah, you take Krebs. So Krebs is on the 3 spot. Hey, great job defensively. We continue to push the ball. Give him nothing. Here we go.
Well, why not? You've got the momentum going your way, and I think that's about, we've seen with the Adelaide 36ers, every now and again they'll get a little lead and they'll try to nurse the thing home. Scotty Ninnis, you could hear him there, just really asking his players to continue to push on the offensive end, attack the defense. He doesn't want a negative approach on the offensive end.
It's do what got you here. They've been aggressive. They've been really good defensively, getting stops and turnovers as Ely steps on the baseline. Another turnover from MU, but they've sailed Daly out of the game. He's been struggling a little bit. Offensively, 5 of 14 from the field, 1 of 6 from 3. They've gone in Clark to try and drum up a little bit more offense for him.
No, Chris Golding, you need points. So
he's got the 4 fouls. Putting your coach's hat on, would you just roll the dice?
Yeah, roll the dice. You're 15 down. Isaac Humphries, well, a little crossover by the big fella.
Here's Tanner Krebs. Scott Ninnis made a specific mention of Tanner Krebs in the timeout. And he's having a career night. 17 points he's up to, season best.
Well, more importantly, they need quick baskets now. The clock is against them as Chris Golding gets a spell. But to me, I think the margin is such that you just want to roll the dice with Chris out on the floor. But getting stops and quick buckets now is the key for Melbourne United if they're going to force their way back into this one.
Yeah, and with Chris, he's otherwise that's a terrible turnover. And a quick timeout.
Another timeout called, snooze timeout from Scott Ninnis.
But getting back to Goulding, he's so experienced. He knows how to play with 4 fouls. But if you're able to generate some turnovers like that, change the momentum really quickly, 5 quick points in a matter of seconds, cuts the lead down to 10.
So the big question for the Adelaide 36ers would be, what's their motivation? What are they playing for the rest of the season? Well, we posed that question to Scott Ninnis pre-game.
Oh, absolutely. It's exciting what they're doing over there. And, you know, it's been a turnaround that we would love to be doing ourselves, but it certainly does give you hope. And I think when you look around at the results that are happening all over the league at the moment, everyone's so close, and there's blowouts and there's upsets. And, yeah, that does give us hope moving forward that we can finish off this season really well.
So he's talking about the Illawarra Hawks there and what they've been able to do to turn around their season. So Scott Ninnis still looking at that from a positive point of view, just not giving up hope because you just never know.
No, and you shouldn't. And you can see what happens when you get a group together, extended period of time, playing with a bit of confidence. And if you're one of the record fans here and you've been going to all their games, you'd be thinking, where's this been all season? Because it's pretty basketball. They're getting it done at both ends of the floor. And it's been fun to watch.
They brought Kadee back into the game just to kind of handle this pressure. United looks to be trapping everywhere, trying to speed the game up. More possessions for United that they can force into quicker shots for Adelaide, quick shots for themselves, the more chance they have to get back to this game. But Cal just taking it upon himself. Ely, huge defensive possession.
Well, that is why he's in line. The defensive player of the year gets an important stop, and then Clark couldn't quite get that to go. Hasn't been his night. Ian Clark, 2 from 10 from the field. Playing for the first time back at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre where he played last season.
Well, I thought it would help you.
Yeah, the rim. The rim.
I thought he'd walk into the joint feeling confident. And he never had a great one against the Sydney Kings, another one of his former teams as well, after just being lights out the entire season.
Looks like CG43 is coming back in. Time, now or never, do or die. He's one player that can cut a 10-point lead to nothing in just a few possessions.
Well, they give up offense for defense because he comes in for Shea Ely.
Have to start at the defensive end. They're going to have to get some stops. Shot clock down to 6. Vasiljevic throwing it up for Humphries, went himself. Now Melbourne in transition. Krebs, he's had the hot hand. Nowhere near it on that occasion.
Yeah, those heat checks tonight have not been pretty heat checks. Some real deep shots that if they go in, you look great. Oh no, they've caught an offensive hold.
I thought it was 3 seconds.
Basket, off the ball. Blue, 40.
Oh no, a blocking foul.
It was against Kyron Galloway. I think he saw that Kadee was wide open and just tried to set an illegal screen to keep Chris Goulding out.
I'd love to have a look at that
He's
replay.
fouled out, Kyron Galloway. 5 points, 4 rebounds, 5 fouls.
Well, they don't lose much because Jacob Wiley, who in this last quarter has really come alive and sparked the team with his energy and a big 3-ball.
The starters have been excellent for the 36ers tonight. They've scored 74 of their 88 points. Most of them are out on the floor. Krebs, this time, can he make amends? Back to 7.
There's enough time, well and truly enough time left on the clock. 36 is going to have to continue to score. Some problems getting some stops. They need points.
And can't just rely on a pick and roll at the end of the shot clock. You've got to get movement, you've got to go side to side, attack the rim. And Kadee's so good at drawing fouls out of that. And that's 5. If that's on Chris Goulding, that's 5. That gets him out of the game. That is a huge call.
Crafty by Jason Kadee, using all his experience and snaked his way to get in front of Chris Goulding.
They're thinking about a coach's challenge.
Let's go.
I don't think they'd win it.
Let's go.
And they're not going to go with it. Chris Goulding's out of the game.
He wants them to challenge. I think he's just trying to buy some time so their team, the video coordinator behind, can check out the replay.
He's going to have to sit. They're going to have to do it without their superstar. The experience of Kadee.
Just a veteran. He's been doing that for years, getting into the paint. Not worrying so much about just getting straight on the rim and finishing, but being able to draw fouls, get to the free throw line. That's an important foul he's just drawn.
Tanner Krebs with that last 3. His career high, 21 points for him as Delivered over to Porty. Seen that a number of times.
They just can't get stops. It's a 4 for 4 the last 4 possessions.
Trying to keep it to the sideline here. You've got to cut across. That is a fantastic pass. That's a huge play.
Just when they needed it, Vasiljevic comes up with something for Wiley.
Now it's a stop. Now it's all about getting stops.
Oh, if you don't mind, Hook Porty.
And not only they're scoring, they're doing it quickly too. They're taking very little time off the game clock. And the clock didn't stop. Last 2 minutes, it stops on the baskets. And that time it kept ticking over, so they'll reset it. And that might be important. You think, oh, it's only 4 seconds. Right now, Melbourne United need every second they can get.
And this is the challenge now for Adelaide, just finding a way to close it out. They've been sensational all game. That's going to help.
Back court. Back court.
Well, had one to give, so there won't be free throws just yet.
Here's Cal. At the 18 points, Krebs gets the steal. He's going to get his 23rd point.
More importantly,
and the Adelaide Entertainment Centre just went quiet.
They've cut it to 4. Gee whiz. Full credit Melbourne United. The pressure defense, the hard show, the deflections, the turnovers, the made basket. Ah, this is fun.
When Jacob Wiley hit that 3, they were 15 points
That's
up,
right.
the 36ers.
Scotty Ninnis is saying, push it, push it, push it. If he had his time again, he might say, slow it down, slow it down, slow it down.
And now there's some hearts in mouths. Just have to compose themselves.
But hasn't Tanner Krebs been fantastic tonight? Career high, 23 points, 9 of 11 from the field. Just doing it efficiently and on that play, forcing the turnover, hard show, attack on the ball, gets the deflection, gets out for the steal, and 4 points. This is, as we look at the Hungry Jacks replay of the championship banners, so they look it up there, and the team.
Gazy, there's the team. David Stiff, I saw there.
Yep. Darnell Mead.
Darnell Mead, a superstar he was. Who gave you shivers? Look at this team. Who was the one that you sort of went, oh, didn't like coming up against him?
Well, the whole lot. Mark Davis, the chairman of the boards, he was a super. Saw him on the screen there, but Brett Maher, young Brett Maher, running around, lighting it up from everywhere, and played beautifully into the Phil Smythe system. But they had talent right across the board, really deep. David Stiff, Big Stiffy, was also a big part of it.
So a minute 44 to close this out. Kadee stays on the floor. Wiley, Traykel, Humphries and Vasiljevic. Melbourne stick with Kerebs. Of course, Golding's fouled out. And Clark, hook Porty instead of Lualachul. Delve it over, and Ellie back on the floor. They go to Wiley. Now to Humphries. And there's Hook Porty again.
Great activity, just everywhere. Came down for the double team, able to get back to his man, block the shot. It was looking like a really good offensive possession from the 36ers, but plays like that can change a play are rare.
Shot clock down to 6. Illy all over Vasiljevic. Gives himself a bit of separation. Couldn't quite finish, and then a heads-up play from Kadee. Critical play. They just need to score on this possession. Cal. He shot the ball well from outside. This will be the biggest of them all! The biggest of them all from Trey Cal. Knocks down his 5th triple.
Now sit down, guard someone, take some time off the clock defensively.
Clark tried to respond at the other end. He couldn't. He's had an off night. And now they breathe a little easier in the Adelaide Entertainment Centre.
How tough is this league? This is the first playing last. Now, I know they're on the road, but my goodness, the parity that exists in this competition on any given night, the uncertainty of outcome every time the ball is tipped would be the envy of most team leagues around the world.
Well, everyone keeps saying it, don't they, in this league? Anyone can beat anyone on any given night, and you see some fans and they roll their eyes and they think it's just a cliched line. Well, tonight we've just witnessed it.
Yeah, if you're not ready to play from the opening jump, and Adelaide were ready. Adelaide were pumped up, energy and enthusiasm, and United were just a little bit off tonight. Just turnovers, some sloppy play. Adelaide have done a good job controlling the game. Now they've got to find a way to close it out.
One ref had a foul, the other had a travel.
I've got a foul first on Jason when he didn't get the ball. So we don't have a kick control of the ball, so the travel doesn't apply. I've got a foul on Jason.
So we heard the explanation from referee, be a foul on Jason Kadee. Shea Ellie will go to the strike.
It did look like there was a bit of contact before the travel. I don't think it's going to matter. Oh, gee, I shouldn't say that, but this is a comfortable margin under normal circumstances.
Yeah, I was going to say, no such thing tonight, but most importantly for United, the clock stops. They'll get some points. No time goes off the clock as really leaves it short.
Melbourne trap. Cal steps out of court.
Yeah, maybe I went too early. Still,
there had to be someone in the middle of the court there. United had 4 players below the free throw line.
Worst place to catch the ball as well. Immediately they trap. Trey Kell under pressure.
You got a baseline and the sideline as extra defenders, and Trey Kell's big toe stood on the line, and never say never right now with tonight's game.
Well, this is where they love to run a play to Chris Golding. He's not on the floor. Ian Clark, who's shooting at over 50% from long range, is just 2 of 11 for the night. Or do they go to the hot hand of Tanner Krebs? It's in the hands of Clark. Can he finally get something going? He can. Back to 4 points.
Miscommunication there defensively. Were they switching? Were they showing? Both players left the most dangerous player, the player of the ball, and one of the best three-point shooters in the league.
Don't need a foul.
They're not going to. Cal, Keddy in the corner. And a big offensive board from Humphries. That'll do it now, you would think. Great play from Isaac Humphries. His 7th rebound of the game.
We can see why Melbourne United is so tough. The effort and the intensity they've applied in this last quarter. 15 down, the game seemed everything but lost. But somehow or other, they find a way to get themselves back into it through just relentless defense. And great couple of offensive boards to buy some more time on the last couple of possessions. Jason Kadee, the play before, this time it was Humphries to eat up a bit more time on the clock and ultimately sends Trey Kell to the free throw line. Very, very good free throw shooter. Let's round it up to 85% on the season.
And another really productive night for Trey Kell. We spoke about that triple-double, 22 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists again tonight. He's been huge when it's mattered. There's going to be another foul. And the crowd can now enjoy it. It's going to be their 5th win at home for the season. Their 6th win overall. And maybe just builds a little bit of momentum. And as we said, a tricky little period of 5 games in 15 days. They're going to have to butter up again Thursday night against the Sydney Kings at home. Another big crowd will turn out there.
And it just shows how tough it is on the road. This is their 3rd game in their 7-game road stint for Melbourne United, and they're 1-2. Oster cans in convincing fashion. And against the last place Adelaide 36ers, they've given up 98 points, and they're going to lose this one.
It's been a bit of a shock. I think most of us penciled in United pretty comfortably tonight, but you play with energy, passion, and intensity, and you stick to your game plan. Anything can happen, and 98 points on United's defense is huge.
Don't underestimate, too, as well, the role that Luke Travers has on this team. Unavailable again, although he was suited up. Certainly wasn't communicated to us that he wasn't going to play. Didn't play against the Sydney Kings. So not having him, he's having a huge year, playing 27 minutes a game, 12 points. The intangibles that he brings, the energy, the boards, the 7.5 boards a game. So no excuses by any stretch, because a lot of these, or every team at certain stages have had to deal with some missed talent.
They've conceded 100 points only 3 times this season, Melbourne United. 2 of those been against the Perth Wildcats. This might be the 4th time in their 20 games. And it's an Adelaide 36ers side that have shot the ball really well. Shot at 50% from the field, over 40% from 3-point range.
And the free throws as well, 15 of 20.
And Melbourne have just shot at 53% from the free throw line. Beautiful inbound play.
That is beautiful. That's what happens when you've got Ian Clark coming out. They bite on it, and it opens up for the slip. So they don't want to give up a 3-ball. And it was just a superbly well-executed play and a terrific pass. And Ian Clark fouls out of the contest.
If Vasilovic can knock down these 2 free throws to ice the game, it'll equal the season high best of 30 points for him. on 50% shooting from the field. He's led from the front.
Well, Leonard Copeland had a friendly bet with a former superstar of the competition when they signed DJ, and Leonard Copeland said he's going to average 20. I reckon after tonight, I haven't seen the numbers, he was about 19 point something, so yeah, I wouldn't worry about it. The superstar can afford to honour the bet.
He gets his 30th point. The 36ers bring up the triple figures. The bucket's going to count. It won't matter. Scott Ninnis is pumped. And in front of the biggest crowd at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre, the 36ers win against the ladder leaders, Melbourne United, by 5 points. What a performance.
Well, it was, and you could just feel the energy in the building at the start of the contest. They came out and took it right up to Melbourne United. They shot the lights out early on, and the finishing numbers at 50% from the field, 42% from three was a big part of it. To get 100 points on this Melbourne United team, it takes a special outing. And they were able to do it really efficiently, and full credit to them. Down the other end, they put some really good shooters into difficult nights, Ian Clark being one of them.
Yeah, he wasn't at his best tonight. Joel Achul was fumbling, not quite to his best, but they probably won't be happy about giving up 96 points, but 100 and a win against the ladder leaders and being able to put 4 quarters together. They've been able to be good in patches in games, but never over the whole game consistently. And tonight they did it, and they went toe-to-toe with the best team in the competition and did something special tonight.
They were fumbling. They just didn't seem as smooth, and I give a lot of credit to the Adelaide 36ers for what they were to do. Case in point is Joe Luala-Chul. 3 or 4 times he got it where he's normally going up and dunking it with 2 hands. He ends up with 3 of 13 from the field, and he does a good job on the boards. He's got the 17 rebounds, I think it was, but offensive rebounds. A lot of them, he was just getting his own little bunnies around the basket that he missed.
Of course, Melbourne United, they had the wood on the Adelaide 36ers. They'd won 4 of the past 5 meetings. They'd won 10 of the last 12. They had a good record at the Adelaide Entertainment Centre, but Adelaide still got plenty to play for in front of some past greats, and a man that was, well, our Foot Locker player of the game tonight, DJ Vasiljevic, an equal season high, 30 points at 50% shooting. And DJ, as we welcome you in, thank you for your time. 15 points came in that first quarter. What was the mindset of you personally and the group coming into this game?
New year, new team, I guess. You know, we have 10 games left, 9 now, but we had to come in full of energy. Obviously, it's the 25-year anniversary for the championship, and we just had to come in full of energy. And yeah, I came to hoop, man. I love my boys, and that's all we had to do.
It was beautiful to watch, DJ. Congratulations on a huge win. You speak about those legends coming in, championship-winning players. Did they have much to do with you guys during the week? How much emotion were you able to generate from having those champions around the club?
We had a few of them come through practice, gave us a bit of a speech and a bit of pep talk, but hey man, you just had to respect the legends of the game, and obviously I've won 2 championships myself, so in 25 years time, whatever club I go back to, I want to be the same, so just have to pay respects to the legends and get it done.
What did you see out there tonight? You were able to get into the lane early, and it opened up some things from the outside against possibly the best backcourt defensive duo. What did you see that got you going early tonight?
Oh man, I don't even know. I had a good nap, good chat to my parents, my cousins. I'm just trying to enjoy this year, you know, stress-free, no issues. You know, I've been dealing with some stuff personally in the last 2 months. But man, I'm just happy to come out here and get a dub. That's really it. And obviously Shea and Daly are 2 of the best defenders in the league, and I take that challenge personally. I think I'm a great scorer and love to compete against those guys.
And just a quick word on your partner in crime tonight, Trey Kelly. Shot the lights out, another 24 points, 10 boards, 5 assists. It's nice when you've got a partner like that doing great things.
Amen to that. Makes my life easier. I make his life easier. But again, this is a team victory, you know, so you're going to enjoy it with the lads. Have a beer, have a wine, and yeah, celebrate tomorrow.
So you should, DJ. Congratulations, mate. Go and enjoy a beer. Well deserved. Great win against the top of the table, Melbourne United. We'll let you go. Thank you for your time.
No, I appreciate you, fellas. Thank you.
Good 4-point win. He's a good man. He was pumped early. There are the boys. They're tipping a few back, and so they should. They'll head out and enjoy their night in Adelaide. It was the 36ers knocking off Melbourne United by 4 points. We'll be back after this to wrap it all up. Well, we're calling it, it's the upset of the season. The Adelaide 36ers, the hapless 36ers, who'd only won 5 games coming into tonight, went home and they took care of business against the ladder-leading Melbourne United. They led at every change. It was a fast start, led by 4 points at quarter time. They held that 4-point lead at half-time. Melbourne made a charge in the third quarter, but Adelaide were able to extend it out to 11 points. And again, Melbourne made a run in the fourth quarter, but the 36ers held on by 4 points. Andrew Gaze, Brian Brockhoff, you've enjoyed this one.
I loved everything about it. Congratulations to the Adelaide 36ers. They've had a tough time of it of late. Their fans have had a tough time of it. And they came in and they showed when you play with that energy, you knock down shots, anything can happen.
And we take a look at the match stats, Rowdy, and really Adelaide, they shot the ball really well. We'll skip that. We'll go straight to the ladder because this is now the update. This is where it's at.
This is where it's at. It just keeps getting bunched up and anyone can beat anyone. That is the NBL this year.
Well, stick with us. There's still plenty more. NBL24, big doubleheader tomorrow. It's going to be New Zealand v Perth, Sydney v Brisbane. Hope you enjoyed this one. We certainly did. It was the Adelaide 36ers in a boil-over.
This program is brought to you by Hungry Jack's and Bunnings Warehouse.